Greetings and salutations. It's 7 o'clock and welcome to the November 20th, 2017 Board of Aldermen meeting for the City of Brentwood. And now, as we call the meeting to order, it's time for our Pledge of Allegiance.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Deputy City Clerk, roll call, please.
Alderman Dimmitt. Alderman Kramer.
Present.
Alderman Leahy.
Here.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Here.
Alderwoman O'Neill.
Here.
Alderman Plufka.
Here.
Alderwoman Sims.
Here.
Alderman Wakey.
Here.
Thank you so much. We have a quorum and some, with the exception of the mayor. And once again, for those of you who may not be familiar, my name is Alderman Kramer, Thomas Kramer from Ward 4, sitting in for the mayor this evening. As we get started with our meeting, there are some handouts and some paperwork for the meeting this evening. If you haven't had a chance, now would be a great time to grab that and prepare yourself, if you'd like, as you review the documents for tonight's meeting. We have, I think, only a slight change to tonight's agenda, and that would be the removal of items 20A and 20C. Is that correct?
That is
Paula?
correct.
Does anybody else have any other changes? If not, if we can get a motion for those changes.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
And a second, we have the first and second. All in favor of those changes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. For the record, Alderman Dimmitt is now joining us at the meeting. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. If only I could pilot the planes.
I understand. So we have an approval of an amended agenda, and we have the minutes under consideration for the last meeting, which is November the 6th. Do we have any changes or recommendation as submitted? Any changes for the minutes from November the 6th, 2017?
Motion to approve as submitted, Your Honor.
Second? Any questions regarding that motion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. And that motion carries. Thank you very much. Up next on the agenda is a presentation, the Brentwood Days video, which is being brought to us by way of...
Who's
Not sure.
introducing it?
I don't, I was just getting the computer, I didn't know I had to introduce it.
You should, Eric.
I will be more than happy.
Director Eric, welcome.
So I was asked to bring bring the Brentwood Days video to the Board of Aldermen meeting tonight. I think we have sent this to the board before, but we thought in a more formal setting, we introduced the video to the meeting. So as you know, the company was out on Saturday, just Saturday. They weren't there Friday, but they took a lot of footage and put together this video that we'll play for you guys. So.
Awesome.
Where do they see it?
Any light changes? There we go.
Now they're going to see it. Up there. Oh.
The intro sounded good. There we go.
Is that a pirate ship I saw there?
Anybody have any comments or questions, or? It was an excellent video, fantastic. That was the first time we've done that, I think.
Excellent acting. Script.
Commercially, sure, we've had videos before, absolutely. That was a wonderful presentation. Thanks very much, Eric. Changing bifocals here. We're up to the next item on the agenda. The proclamations, we have none. Public hearing, we have none. No bids, and now we have hearing of any matter of public interest upon request of any persons present. Now would be the time to come forward. Once again, if you have questions, criticisms, comments, compliments, please come forward. If you have compliments, we may give you an extra minute. Get 4 minutes on those. Anybody? All right, closing that hearing, and we have no automatic response. Unfinished business, no. We've got bills to be given a first reading only, item number 12. If we could have a motion for the first reading of bill number 6165.
That's a second reading, sir.
Second reading.
Okay, give a second reading.
Bill number 6165, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance granting a site plan approval and conditional use permit to MBFT LLC for development of a commercial office building with a drive-through at 2301 to South Brentwood Boulevard.
And the synopsis for that application for the site plan conditional use permit for property located 2301 South Brentwood Boulevard for the 909 square foot drive-through custard shop and accessory parking. Bill covers an ordinance granting site plan approval and conditional use permit to MBFD LLC for development of a commercial office building with a drive-through at 2310 South Brentwood Boulevard. The request is by MBFT LLC for site plan and architectural elevation review and a conditional use permit to construct a drive-through custard shop at 2301 South Brentwood Boulevard. This application was approved by our Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation to the full board by a vote of 9 in favor, 0 opposed. Bill number 6165. And do we have any additional presentation by staff?
No.
Nothing has changed since the last,
No, nothing
okay, and
has
there are no
changed.
questions that came up. And now we have questions by the board. Anybody have any? Alderman O'Neill.
I just have a comment. This is the only issue since I've been in office where people have a unanimous comment when you bring this up and say what's going to happen. The first part is, that sounds wonderful, and the second part is, but, and it's the traffic issue. I was nearly hit yesterday by somebody going down Brentwood Boulevard past Starbucks, and the driver went past the yellow barriers and then proceeded to do a U-turn. I had not expected that. It's not prohibited. There isn't a sign that says no U-turn, but those barriers are there for a reason. The fact that this is located so close to that, and I think is going to be a terrific success and have parking all over the place, makes me feel as though what everybody else says, it's a wonderful idea, but not in that location. So I would like to see it move to where Brentwood Bible Church is for sale or something like that.
Anybody else? Alderman Plufka.
Well, this is, I had a question actually, but it was, and I don't know that it would need to be answered by somebody like CBB or whether anybody can answer this question, but there's an observation made within their existing, within the proposed development part of CBB's report that had a concern with regard to the radius of the turn that goes from, I guess, south to east as you negotiate the corner and come up to the drive, to the window where you're going to be getting your stuff and giving your money and things like that. There was a concern about the radius being too tight, and then I couldn't determine whether or not, for like larger vehicles, for SUVs and things like that, is that something that was that just an observation that was sort of like, well, maybe that might be something we're concerned about?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, and actually now, I'm probably going to go ahead and ask Ryan, who's the engineer for the project. He is with us here tonight, so I believe that's been checked into, but Ryan, if you'd like to address it?
All right, thank you, Lisa.
Hi. Yes, we did look at CBB's recommendations, and
I'm sorry, could we have your name for the record, please?
sure, Ryan Cerniglia. We looked at CBB's recommendations, all of them, and we did what we call auto turn and turning movements. So we did passenger vehicles, SUV, and small trucks to get through. We don't anticipate anything larger. Garbage trucks should back in and out, but every other movement can get through that right now.
Because the garbage truck would only have to go as far as that,
The trash
the
enclosure.
trash container.
And that should be backed in most likely and back out onto White Avenue.
And then the only other question I had, and maybe it's something you can answer as well, is there was initially some concern about sight distance as you approach Brentwood Boulevard, being able to turn right because of the profiles of some of those tables
Sure.
with awnings.
Yep, so we looked at St. Louis County highway standards, and we looked at the sight distance coming out of our facility and also on White Avenue. And we actually modified our site plan to move some of those tables. Right now, where they're located, and you see it, the triangle, it won't hit any of that. So they should have a straight view from exiting out, looking northbound to White Avenue and beyond.
Okay.
Hence, we don't have any trees or anything like that for the landscaping plan either.
Just the profile of the umbrella, I guess, would be the only thing.
And we're not even positive that's going to have umbrella.
Right.
Right now, it's just
Right.
seating at the location. But we don't plan on having that encroach.
Thank you. That's the only two questions I have.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Alderman Plufka. Anybody else? Alderman Leahy.
If I may ask our engineer, the exit lane out on the Brentwood Boulevard is only a right-hand turn,
Correct.
and that there'll be a sign.
We will have a sign that says
because
right turn
It's not
only.
on your drawings, or at least I didn't notice it.
Yeah, we don't have signage on there yet, but
Okay.
we anticipate a right turn only. And then on the backside, we'll have a do not enter for anybody that's coming from Brentwood that might accidentally try to turn into the drive-through lane.
Thank you.
The exit lane onto Brentwood Boulevard that Alderman Leahy brings up, it's the curb cut that's pre-existing.
Correct.
So that curb cut will not change. There will just be indicational signage and marking.
Correct. Right now, we're doing no improvements within the right-of-way limits. And what we're anticipating is they're going to be fencing, like wrought iron or metal fencing that you can see through for the site triangle, but have signage on that. So even if a car wanted to turn, they would hit a fence if they were coming in.
Okay. And what's the anticipated start time and project timeline?
I believe it's going to be spring of 19, I believe.
19,
I believe.
okay.
Right now, if they were to start construction, they probably wouldn't get done until middle of summer, end of summer next year. And that's kind of half of their season. Their season is the summertime. So it might be pushed off to start construction until 19, but that's still to be determined.
Okay, thank you. And Lisa, I have one more question for you, if I could. There were, on the bill, the draft of the ordinance, there's an extra condition that was not in the initial memo that I saw from the staff recommendations about the landscape buffer. Is that something that came up in conversation? This is the number 5, is the one that I didn't see on the list of recommendations that were in the initial case memo from August.
In the staff report to the P and Z, or,
That's right. This is the Planning and Zoning Commission, I guess it's the staff report from August the 9th.
so.
It had the recommendations.
Okay, so what would have transpired since that date would have been still the site plan subcommittee that was held the end of August, and then the regular meeting this went back to with planning and zoning in October, so that was formulated after that initial meeting with P and Z. Excuse me.
Super.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion that we perfect Bill 6165 into ordinance form.
Sounds good.
Second?
And we have a motion and a second for the motion, so we have to have the roll call now, please.
Alderman
Well-
Dennett,
Do we need to call for any more discussion, or we just? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, I'm sorry.
Let's
That's
go
fine.
back in time. Are there any further questions regarding this particular bill? So we have a motion and a second on the floor. No further questions. Roll call, please.
Alderman Dennett,
Yes.
Alderman Kramer,
Yes.
Alderman Leahy,
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller,
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill,
No.
Alderman Plufka,
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims,
Yes.
Alderman Waggy.
Yes.
Bill number 6165 passes, and upon signature of the acting president of the Board of Aldermen, becomes ordinance 4807.
So exciting.
I'll eat there anyway.
Once in a while. All right, thank you very much. And we're up to the first and second reading for this particular bill, number 6167. First reading, please.
Bill number 6167, first reading, an ordinance granting site plan approval for a new facade at 2914 South Brentwood Boulevard.
A little bit further information on that one. Ginris LLC is requesting a site plan approval for a new facade for the property located at 2914 South Brentwood. Owners have submitted construction plans to obtain a building permit to remodel the interior and the exterior of the office building at that location. No additions are planned for the building, and the property meets the city's site plan requirements. Approval is for the facade renovations and the landscaping. Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval of the site development plan for the facade elevations as submitted by a vote of 10 in favor with 0 approved. Since that site plan approval is for the facade-related improvements only, of which the owner and constructor would like to begin to complete that before the winter time, it's being requested Bill number 6167 be considered here this evening for 1 and 2, first and second readings, Bill 6167. So do we have any further presentation on this item?
Make a few more comments.
Okay.
Thank you again. So yes, we've got this petition in front of you for site plan approval, but really it's just here because the elevations of the building will change. We included in your packet both the existing photographs of what the building looks like now, as well as the exterior elevations of the building. And as what was mentioned, there isn't any changes to the site plan. It's going to still continue to be used as an office building, so it meets all the city's site plan requirements. Now, if you were down there to visit the site, granted, the paving, the parking lot needs to be striped again, and, the enclosure around the trash dumpster, if they choose to use one. We always catch those just during occupancy visits anyway. So again, this is really just before you for the review of the architectural elevations. And as was mentioned, we are requesting first and second reading, we're kind of winding down on weather here and construction season. If you have any questions, there also is a representative in the audience tonight for this proposal.
Understood. Any questions by the group here this evening? No questions? And so we have a need for perfection of the bill, if no questions.
A motion for second reading.
Motion for second reading.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
And roll call, please. See?
Roll,
No.
voice vote is sufficient. to
Oh, all
count
those in
second
favor?
reading.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okey-dokey.
Bill number 6167, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance granting site plan approval for a new facade at 2914 South Brentwood Boulevard. Motion to perfect the bill would be in order, and then
Thank you
discussion.
so much.
And I'll make that motion to perfect Bill 6167 into ordinance form.
Second.
And we have a first and a second for perfection of that bill. And let's have a roll call vote, please.
Discussion. Any discussion?
Any discussion?
Okay.
Alderman Demmett,
Yes.
Alderman Kramer,
Yes.
Alderman Leahy,
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller,
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill,
Yes.
Alderman Plufka,
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims,
Yes.
Alderman Weggie.
Yes.
Bill number 6167 passes, and upon signature of the acting president of the Board of Aldermen, becomes ordinance 4809.
Bull, I didn't get a chance to ask you this question ahead of time. In our packet this evening, there was a notice of public hearing, but it's not on the agenda.
Because we had the public hearing for Bill 6145 at the last
So this is
meeting.
just a copy.
Yes.
Okey dokey, just making sure. Yes, sir. Alderman Leahy.
If I may, the last bill that passed was 4807,
You're right.
and
It
this
should-
one is 4809.
4808.
We skipped something.
It should be 4808.
Oh, wait, thank you.
This space not left blank on purpose. Unintentional.
Okay.
Great catch. We're up to the resolutions, number 1082. And we'll give you a slight bit of extra illumination here. Resolution in accordance with the laws of the state of Missouri and the ordinances of the city of Brentwood, Missouri. A general election is to be held within our city limits on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in April coming next year, 2018. That is to say, on 4/3/2018. That's the resolution. Pretty simple, and we need to get it into,
Motion to approve the resolution 1082.
there you go.
Second?
And we have a first and a second. And do we need roll call with that? Mr. City Attorney?
Can I ask a question?
Sure, go
Or
right ahead.
point out, I thought I saw a typo on that resolution. I thought I saw April 3rd and then April 4th. And then the
It's April 3rd.
elves on my desk took that piece of paper.
That
Was I,
Tuesday.
like, the first paragraph said April 3rd and then the next one, and then the section 1, it says April 4th.
Yes.
My copy says April 3rd on both.
I've got April 3 on mine.
Under section, so the first paragraph says April 3rd, 2018. I mean, I know I'm being a grammar nerd, but it's a resolution. And then section 1,
Find it.
which is 1, 2, 3.
Oh, there it is.
4 paragraph, it says
April
April 4.
2017 as well.
Yes.
2017 as well, there you go.
Well, you know.
Takes a village.
Gonna do it all over again.
I think it was on April
If
4th,
it's a Tuesday,
2017.
it should be the 3rd.
So would that be Scrivener's error, or do we need to readjust that?
No, it's
Oh, I
just a
see it.
typo, we'll correct
Yes,
it.
it's April
There
3rd.
you go.
2018.
4/3/18. Good job. Your Honor,
So resolution requires roll call, or
Voice votes.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That resolution is carried and on the way. And we are up to accounts against the city as we move speedily through our agenda. Alderman Dimmitt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've had an opportunity to go over the warrant list with our city administrator. I asked a number of questions, I got answers, and accordingly, I would make a motion that we approve the warrant list in the amount of $203,050.09.
We have a motion, and we have a second.
second, Your Honor.
Any questions regarding the motion for approval of tonight's warrant list? Alderman Leahy.
On the front page, we have the code red emergency system. How often did we use it in that calendar year? Can we get would a report be forthcoming to the Public Safety Committee and the Board of Aldermen?
We can generate a report.
Or just to,
How often the city used it?
what we're doing with it? I think it's a good program, I just don't know that we're using it to the full extent.
Well, we only use it when there's a
An emergency.
emergency. So I would hope we would
We've
use
been
it on a
fortunate.
regular basis. Exactly. You know, but we do have the ability to use it for just general information that needs to go out to the entire city. So now we can use it more, but we haven't really had to use it a lot this year, thankfully. We did have, you know, a lot of heavy rainfall early spring. And even with that, it wasn't as bad as we anticipated, so we didn't have to use it that much. But there's been other years where we've come pretty close to using all the minutes that we have available for that entire year. But
Thank
if, we can still generate a report.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding tonight's warrant list? If not, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We had a motion first and a
voice
second.
vote.
No, you've got the first and second, but since you're spending money, I believe you need a
Roll
roll
call.
call.
Alderman Dimmitt,
Yes.
Alderman Kramer,
Yes.
Alderman Leahy,
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill,
Yes.
Alderman Plufka,
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims,
Yes.
Alderman Wakey.
Yep.
We can pay the bills.
We've got it passed. And we're now time for the committee and department heads as we approach not even close to the half of the hour. Under Mayor's report, we're going to speed right through that. There is none. Public Safety Committee, Alderman Plufka.
Public Safety will meet December 21st, I believe, in this chamber at 5:30.
Thank you so much. Public Works Committee, Alderman Lockmiller.
Our next meeting's Wednesday, December 13th at 4:30, right here.
And we've got nothing from Planning and Development. Ways and Means Committee, Alderman Dimmitt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am happy to report that the committee finished the budget preparation for the year 2018 well ahead of schedule.
Wow.
And it will be in front of this board, I believe, December 4th
Correct,
for the, I guess, the first reading.
right.
But we're still going to go ahead and have a meeting in the month of December. And that will be, I believe, the 7th of December. at 6:30.
A date
Excellent.
which will live in infamy.
Give all the folks in the city of Brentwood a chance to ask any questions during that meeting. City Attorney, any report?
No, sir.
City Clerk?
Nothing, sir.
Excise Commissioner?
No report.
Library Board?
No report.
Municipal League? And
No
that's
report.
probably nothing.
Yes.
Announcements, there are none. Up to the new business. And so here we have, you all have a memo here this evening that was either in your packet or maybe you just got it here this evening. Request for some equipment, requesting the authorization for the city administrator to donate the cooking station, fire suppression and ventilation hood to the Brentwood Rock Hill American Legion Golf Mall Post 101. And we're going to need a motion authorizing the city administrator to donate those items to that post in exchange for the Legion providing its own labor and materials to remove and relocate the unit to the Legion's property.
So moved.
Second, Your Honor.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any questions regarding that motion? Any questions for staff? And seeing none, so we will go to the roll call vote.
Alderman Demmett,
Yes.
Alderman Kramer,
Yes.
Alderman Leahy,
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller,
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill,
Yes.
Alderman Plufka,
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims,
Yes.
Alderman Wakey.
Yep.
Your Honor,
Okay.
if I may.
Sure, Alderman Leahy.
May we go back to number 17 for announcements?
We certainly can.
We
Sorry
seem to
about
jump
that.
real fast on
Oh,
that
sorry
one.
about that. Announcements. Alderman Leahy.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have two that I'd like to share with the board this evening. First of all, a report on the Scouting for Food effort that took place this past Saturday. The Boy Scouts are very grateful to the city of Brentwood for making the bays available for us. We had a wonderful turnout and generosity from the Brentwood area. We yielded 368 boxes of canned goods. That is up from 225 boxes last year. We had multitudes of youth, all the way from the Tiger Cubs from second grade, all the way up through the venture crew at 18 and 21 years of age, and a lot of adults that helped tootle around the city to pick up bags. If you happen or did not get a bag picked up, or would like to continue to donate, the Mears Goodwill Store on Manchester Road here in Brentwood is a collection location for the rest of the week and covering this weekend. Just take it up and drop it off at the counter in front of the store, and they'll be happy to make sure it gets to the food pantries. The Scouting for Food program is now 33 years old. It started in here in St. Louis as a Goodwill project, became a national service project. We take all the food that comes in, a little bit more than 2 million cans worth of food. It is dispersed through 55 pantries that sub out to over 500 organizations that help feed the hungry here in St. Louis. So thank you very, very much for your generosity, and thank the city for making the facilities available. My second announcement, Your Honor, is this Friday, the 24th of November, we will be hosting a tree dedication service at the Memorial Park here in Brentwood at 10 a.m. We will be dedicating 2 trees to Louise Charbonneau, who passed away earlier this year. She last graced this board's presence with her frustration of cutting trees down when we were doing the pavilion area and walkway enlargement and parking for Memorial Park, or Oak Tree Park, Oak Tree Park. And we would like to start replacing some of those trees, so we have a dedication at 10 a.m. at Oak Tree Park, right off of Porter Avenue and Florence. Thank you.
Alderman Leahy, correct me if I'm wrong, did we hear somewhere in your first announcement something about you saying that was the mayor's Goodwill store? Did you hear that?
MERS.
It sounded like it,
MERS.
but it wasn't.
Yeah, MERS.
Okay.
Goodwill.
Yes. Just making sure the mayor didn't have any other businesses going on.
You
that we
didn't know he was
about
helping
in
the
city of
community
Brentwood.
on the side.
Alderwoman O'Neill.
Also, we need to make an announcement that everyone is invited to Ward 4's meeting at the end of the month. It's next Tuesday, November 28th at 6 o'clock at the Brentwood Forest Clubhouse.
Thank you. Anybody else? Alderman Lockmiller.
We will have Ward 3's meeting right here a week from tomorrow, the 28th, at 7 o'clock.
Alderman Weggie.
Alder Dog requested that I convey his appreciation for the dog park opening and remind citizens that they have like 10 working days to get their memberships before it's open to the, released to the hounds, if you will, not to the wolves. So,
We're up to, what, your next door announcement said it was like 68 or 66?
97 today.
97. Good. So the announcement worked.
Yeah, get the
Very
word
good.
out.
Any other announcements here this evening? Apologies for skipping past that too quickly, and now we're up to the opportunity for our residents present, hearing any matter of any person present for request of public interest. Please come forward. Now's your opportunity. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Sally Westenberger. I live at 2626 Bremerton Road. As a member of Goffman Post 101, I want to thank you for your donation and tell you, Tom, you have done a wonderful job these last two meetings of chairing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Anybody else? Automatic response, thank you. Actually, this evening, I fully intended to come here and kind of just participate in the meeting and go home. I didn't know the mayor was not going to be here, but we're happy that everything is turning out okay. His health as well. It's just he had an item on the agenda tonight. And we have a closed meeting coming up, so we need a motion to go into that closed meeting, and we'll adjourn from the regular meeting from that closed session.
Your Honor, no, thank you.
Go ahead.
No, second.
Just for one reason here this evening, if you could include that in our motion.
610-021.2.
We have a motion and a second, and roll call vote, please.
Alderman Demmett.
Yes.
Alderman Kramer.
Yes.
Alderman Leahy.
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill.
Yes.
Alderman Plufka.
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims.
Yes.
Alderman Weggie.
Yep.
Thank you. And this meeting stands in recess now until 7:43. We'll be meeting upstairs. Bola, is that correct?
We're going to adjourn from there?
Yeah, we'll be adjourning from there. Thank you so much for your attendance. Happy Thanksgiving.